sometimes I don't know if other people feel it, but I've experienced times where I feel at my age, I feel capped, but like I can't get any better.
Huh.
Like even with a uni degree, you feel like I'm just getting more qualified to do the job, like proof that I can do this job. But I don't feel like I'm getting better. I'm not getting smarter because I don't read enough books, which I should start doing. But I'm not getting smarter. Potentially not getting any stronger if I'm not like training or you know, working out consistently, whatever it is. But yeah, I've been in those slumps. I felt that. But I hope that's not true. And I'm discovering I don't think it is true because I'm working on projects and I'm getting smart. I'm talking to different people with different perspectives. I know that my world's like expanding and my interest is expanding.
Right.
But this thirst for, you know, wanting to learn. But I also see that you, someone like yourself, could have the same kind of, you know, desire as well.
Right.
You go through this thing, even this experience of like having a couple of, just having like, even doing it for like a week, you learn so much. You know, setting a timetable, learning how to accommodate for this certain stuff. You gotta learn how to like set your own timetable as well.
Yeah.
You start, you know, there's this level of you having to realize, I can't do all this work because this amount of commitment I can't do because then it infringes on my life and I lose the quality. You know, keeping this nice balance.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't work if it breaks your daily life structure. This thing works if it complements your daily life structure. You're putting yourself in a position when you, and I love it, you pivot and move. Because let's say, because I think this job that you've got now is pretty secure. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Right? But if without too much effort, with just, you know, working hard, or effort and working hard. But my point with, you know, you putting your effort into something that can grow.
Right.
It might grow bigger than this. And then you have the option to go, okay, I don't want to grow that big. I'll just keep it at this level and I'll keep doing this job.
Right.
I've got two. Or you go, I don't want this anymore. I like it. I've got the prestige, but I don't want to. And give it to someone else. You can give it to someone else. You can literally train someone to do your job. Give it to someone else.
Right.
Or even hand it to students to other people. You create some kind of network.
Right.
And I mean, there's so many. Yeah, I'm not even like thinking about just the good for you yourself, Clint. I'm thinking about the good for like the people, the young people.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking HSC, there is obviously don't fucking make me the pariah or like cast me out for being the person who conflicts with the idea of like tutoring might not be the best option. Because the Board of Studies or Education or whatever doesn't like tutoring. I know that. But we can't then say ignore the fact that this is what's happening and this is the thing. You know, and it's showing fruit and result that people want. It's giving people the results that they want. You're doing education. Do you know a bit about the gifted and talented and things like that?
The gifted and talented
programs and like selective and things like that.
I've heard bits and pieces about it, but
so
nothing too in
one
depth.
of the things and what I'm talking about is two perspectives, right, at once, because it's fucking fascinating. The selective test was made for like to identify gifted students, right?
Right.
So they can go to selective schooling.
Right.
Then the motherfucking Asians came through and ruined that whole system with tutoring.
True.
Because kids are now able to show that they can hit that benchmark based on, you know, this extra learning and stuff.
Right.
Which is then negating what the selective system was for. It's meant to identify the kids who are naturally gifted. They were born, they're inclined to do this well on their own. Right. The Asian kids, they fucking, the immigrant mentality, they fucking pump this shit. And they kind of broke that system. That's why we have so many Asians selective. Yeah. Now, I'm on two folds of that. One, I am on the side of it created a lot of toxic parenting. Yes. Yeah. My kid has to get in selective. I want because you know the brain of those Asian parents is the association is selective, good career. You've been through it all. We don't have to talk about you know this. Watch the fucking last episode Clint was on. But that's what it's created. Yeah. That's the negative side. It's really fucking like disgusting. I fucking all the time. Every time I see parents like that, I'm like, ugh. Yeah. Fuck me. But despite saying that, I have to then also understand. I mostly say it for when I see that the child is like fucking drowning in that, like they're suffering as a result of that. Yeah, I completely understand when the child actually exists in that environment. Fine, that's cool, and then it is what it is. You're doing a great job. If you're gonna be like that and your kid can actually cope, great. Yeah. they'll do great things.
Mm.
So that's me talking about the negative side. On the positive side, what I do admire is the fact that,
Tenacity.
that put us on the fucking map.
Mm.
You know, education became like, it really said something for a level of like, hey, really showed that level of putting hard work.
Yeah.
You can be born gifted, talented, but hard work should override. Of course, there's a level of sports, genetics, and stuff like that. Same with being smart and things like that. But yeah, because then in the suffering that you have, you know, a lot of people who can't cope, their experiences of not being able to cope as their parents put all this pressure on, which is bad. Which is why every generation has to get better. The generation that is now won't have that as much. They'll be able to see the signs much earlier. Hey, my kid can't cope. That's fine. Let's pull back a bit.
Yeah.
Let's hit the brakes a little. Let the kid develop. There's a lot more to the mind than just the book.
Yeah.
Tangent. But yes, it's good that we were able to give that foothold. We've already got the foothold, bro. We were talking about the foothold the other week. We already have a foothold, Clint.
Yeah.
And through that foothold, that's good because we can just keep making this happen. I think this new generation that comes forward should be a generation of, we know the formula. The formula's working hard. We've got the ability to do that, so let's do that. And when we can see the signs that, you know, we're working hard, but we're struggling to achieve results, cool. Instead of trying to push something that doesn't work and breaking it, we can kind of adjust and find different ways.
Yeah.
And suddenly this whole generation starts becoming a little bit prettier, doesn't it? Because you know, it's the generation that we have now is built on a lot of suffering and a lot of sadness, like tiger parents, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of broken relationships shifts as well.
Mm.
But it's not to say that it didn't create, you know, a lot of things that we can definitely be proud of. There's nothing wrong with like there being like a lot of people in medicine being Asian, at least for, you know, Asians. Like that's something to be very proud of.
Right.
Yeah, whatever makes you comfortable, brother.
Sure.
But my point being, the only problem was because of the way things were run before. There was a level of, oh, you're that and I'm not, so now I feel this hate and disdain, you know.
Just like the othering.
Yeah. But as the generations are changing, it should be. I understand you have your elitist communities and societies, and they go fuck themselves up the arse.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn. Me myself, I'm thinking, we're finding that middle ground, that line where, hey, but we all need each other.
Yeah.
You know, I if I'm naturally a certain way and able to achieve this, and you're not, I should not be imposing these Asian expectations because the times have changed now. It's better now. It should be much better. And I'm hearing this a lot. What I really love is because back when I was in school, a lot of us kids were only childs or the firstborn, like who were hanging out with me, right? The eldest. So their parents, this is the first one we saw now. They were all strict on that, right? Yeah. And then now that we're all like in kind of uni age or tertiary education or doing a thing, or they know for a fact we're not getting up to any, you know, problems. Yeah. There actually is enough. There is enough in the sense that, you know what, like a lot of this worry came from the unknown. I think that's a pattern that's happened, like a common pattern, not only that's happening now, but was happening before. If you look at your older like generation parents, like the parents who not done being parents, but their kids graduated while we were still in school. They would have give you a lot of like, you can see that they would have eased off because they look around, they're like, oh yeah, no. A lot of like other kids get up to a lot worse than what my kids resulted. There's a lot less pressure. Yeah. Which is, it's interesting, eh? It's like when you're young and you could probably take the least pressure, most likely to break emotionally, is when most of the pressure was put on. And it was only until when you're older, and I'm talking really generally, I'm sure that there's some people have even higher pressure and higher expectations. I get that. But like the general thing being like, and then when you're older, because all our that's what, back to a thing I was saying, like, you know, as we get older, it feels like you don't achieve anything more, you don't get any smarter. The thing I was going to touch on was the when you're older, you don't make any more. You feel like you're not making any more achievements.
Yeah, like just getting a job is like the capstone.
Like this is what everything was resulting to, you know. And some people might not get the job that their parents set out for them, but then they realize, hey, we live in Australia, and shit's good, and even though I don't get the job that my parents wanted me, I have a job that was good, that provides, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Apparently, about 75 grand a year is enough to be considered happy. I mean, if you think about it, it's fair.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't ask for too much, like, yeah, it's enough to have everything you kind of need and start just back to the concept I was pointing out to you, that man needs to work.
Yeah.
Man has to work, or that free time is poison.
Yeah.
Needs to be working. And hey, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be working for someone else. You can be working for yourself too. That's why with you, I'm talking about this thing, because you're going to start investing time into something that can grow and you can own.
Yeah.